Jefferson climbs the ladder. Oh my goodness!
We are live. The best crew is back, and today we are talking the NFC East. We brought in JC Zargo. JC, we always had a great time with you doing the NBA rundown this year, and now we've brought you in to talk some NFL. How's everything been? We were catching up a little bit before the show started, but how's summertime going for you, and how are you looking forward to this NFL season?
Man, summer's been great to me. Been a lot of traveling. I've been enjoying this baseball, but I'm getting a little tired of just baseball. Excited to write, talk about something new. So I am very excited to have the greatest sport in the world coming back.
All right, Tyler, we've been having a lot of fun doing these previews as well as playing some best ball. So today we are diving into the NFC East. Any overall thoughts from you on this division before we dive in and go team by team?
No, I just want to make sure we're doing AFC East right today, spread.
Did I say NFC twice?
Yeah, you said NFC twice.
And I even have a Buffalo Bills background. What is wrong with me? Excuse me, guys. It's the AFC East. Obviously, didn't get enough A's in school, or I made that mistake. Thank you. AFC East, give me your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, one of the better divisions in the AFC. I know we talked about the NFC South the last time we were here. That was a terrible division. Probably not getting a 10-win team out of that one. But this division, we could have 3 teams with 10 wins. The only team I see really bottoming out is the Patriots, because I really don't trust Mac Jones. And I think Bill Belichick's past his time now, spread. So it should be a fun division. Should be a fun day to talk about this one.
All right, we're bagging on old people already. See, we're already in midseason form here on Talking Touchdowns, brought to you by Run Pure Sports. But, guys, the most important thing is that you guys jump in, join the movement, get winning with the team right now. Use promo code NFL20. That's right, 20% off for the whole life of your membership. It's not a monthly discount, not a yearly discount, for life with your membership. And, of course, that's going to give you access to the NFL playbook, the NBA playbook, the betting plays, and, of course, the DFS information. That's right, SaberSim. Get all the tools, 20% off. Use that promo code NFL20, runpuresports.com. We say our guy, we the people in the chat. Guys, jump in the chat, make the show more lively, and away we go. JC, I'm going to start with you. I got the Buffalo Bills win season total pulled up right here. It's 10.5. But on Bookmaker, it's juiced to minus 183. Why don't they just hang the 11, right, JC? Minus over 10.5, minus 183. To me, it's hard to go against these teams. I like playing the win totals on the best teams in the NFL. They seem a little low. Obviously, the rest of the market has done this too. Maybe shop around. I'd rather play the 11 or the 11.5. But I don't see any reason why not to bet this team to go over. What am I missing, JC?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think 11 wins, whether you want to take 10.5 or even if he does go up to 11, I think that's an easy bet there. I think this year the Bills teams, I think they peak. Some of those guys are getting older. I definitely think we can expect similar performance that we did last season. So I don't expect a dramatic difference in either direction. Better or worse than we did last year for the Bills. But I think those guys know it, that if they want to win a championship, they want to make a Super Bowl. This is kind of the window's closing quickly, especially as the rest of the AFC is getting drafted.
I agree with everything except for the window's closing quickly. This team can compete for as long as Josh Allen's a star quarterback. That's got to be 6 years.
Yeah, let me rephrase. I mean, it's yes, but they're going to have to kind of restructure and rebuild a little bit. Just these current pieces, especially on defenses that are getting older. So yes, they'll be able to replenish them. But then you kind of got to work on that core, and just with this team that we kind of kept expecting the last couple of years to see the Bills in the Super Bowl. That's what I mean. This is that team's opportunity. Next year after that, teams will look a little bit different.
All right, JC, I'm getting a little bit of static for you. Do you want to reset the mic and then go ahead and see if we can get you back in with better. Tyler, I actually looked around. If you really love that 10.5, minus 145, which is it's still high, but palatable there. Talk to me about what you think on this win total. I just have a hard time seeing this team regressing. Like, in what way did they get worse?
Yeah, I honestly think they got better. I know they didn't make many additions to the roster, but you got to remember that defense was injury riddled last year. They were beat up. They were on their third and fourth string safeties at some points. Their corners were all beat up. Now the defense is going to be healthy coming into this year. I don't think they get the injury bug as much. I got them going as far as the Super Bowl spread. I still think this team's cursed. I still think Josh Allen will piss down his leg at any moment in a big game. So I don't think they win the Super Bowl. I think they get there and lose. But I think they're going to win like 13 games this year. I think they're just going to cruise through the regular season. They're going to look like the juggernaut that we think they are. And they're just going to win a bunch of games. So I like the over 10.5, but I would rather play like an alt total over 12.5, or even them to have the number 1 overall seed in the AFC at a nice plus number. Would be some ways I'd approach this.
I have Josh Allen ranked number 1 in my best ball rankings.
You got him ranked 1.
I have him ahead of Mahomes. I have him ahead of Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts. I think Josh Allen's going to be the top fantasy scoring quarterback this year. Your thoughts, Tyler?
I mean, I could definitely see it, but I'm leaning towards some other quarterbacks. Like, I think Hurts still puts up more numbers than him. I think Burrow just throwing the ball could put up more numbers than Allen, because since he's going to be throwing the ball a ton this year. So he'll definitely be in the top 3 or 4 quarterbacks as long as he doesn't get hurt, but I don't think he'll be one.
All right. I like Josh Allen to be the top scoring fantasy player. What are your thoughts here? And have you looked at some player props for the Buffalo Bills? Obviously, Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs going to be juiced high, but there's a reason for that.
I don't have any season. Oh, is that for JC? I'm sorry.
No, you're my
bad. I'm sorry. And we'll go back to you and then give me a season-long Bills bet, Tyler. Go ahead, JC.
No, go ahead. Tell her I needed a second anyway, so go ahead.
Okay.
Say, looking at them, I don't have any of the yardage props that I would take, but looking at their schedule, just Buffalo's in general, they start out with the Jets, who probably start slow. We've seen Rodgers' team start really slow as they come into the season, so I think they win that game. Okay. Then they play the Raiders, definitely winnable. Then Washington, that's a winnable game. Miami week 4 could get dicey, and so could week 5 with the Jags.
Where are they playing Miami, though?
They're at home for Miami. The Jags is in Germany, I believe. I think that's where they're all playing their games at this year. So week 6, unless they lay an egg against Jacksonville overseas, I think week 6 would be the game they would lose, and that would be the Giants, because we see teams come back from overseas. They have that lag. So I can see week 6 being the first game they lose. You can get 9-1 on this team to be the last undefeated team in the NFL. They could come back from overseas and blast the Giants. They could just be a difference there than all these other teams. So I'm taking them to be the last undefeated team in the NFL at 9-1, because if they get past that week 6 game,
can you hedge their first losses in week 6?
You could probably, you could definitely do that. You'll get the Giants at plus money in that game.
Oh, I'm saying, can you bet it right now? Bills' first loss, week 6.
I'm not sure. I haven't seen that prop out yet that we liked to bet last year.
Yeah, we did. That was fun last year. Yeah,
you probably could find that. But if they get past that Giants game, they got the Patriots on deck after that, and then the Buccaneers, both games at home. They likely win both of those, so they'd be sitting at 8-0 at that point. I don't think another team gets to 8-0 looking at the schedule. So at 9-1, I'll take that shot on Buffalo.
Yeah, we're high on the Buffalo Bills here, JC. We were last year as well. Talk to me about Josh Allen. I think he's going to be the number 1 fantasy quarterback this year. What are your thoughts on that? And then give me some season-long player props that you have been targeting.
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough one. I mean, he's certainly going to be up there, but I'm always hesitant to bet against Patrick Mahomes, and I know, Joe Burrow is going to be right there too. Biggest difference maker, though, could be the running back game. I mean, the Bills have, James Cook running back, so I feel like they're going to be, needing to rely on the pass game a lot more than those other quarterbacks will. So I don't hate that bet. I personally wouldn't lay it. I don't know if you have the odds handy for Mahomes, kind of given the odds, it might be worth it. But I'm not going to bet on Allen to have a better season than Mahomes. An interesting season-long prop I saw was Bills to score 1+ passing touchdown in every regular season game, paying out 4-1. With those odds, it's juicy. I'm intrigued. Just to score 8 touchdowns, -200. So that'd certainly be some free money right there too.
All right. Have you looked at any of these player prop totals? I know that Stephon Diggs is pretty high. It scared me away there. Did you have other players we should be looking at when we're talking about making some NFL player props here?
I'm pulling that up right now.
What's a Gabe Davis touchdown? Like, what's his touchdown set at this year?
Let me see if I have that. It's probably pretty low. My guess off the top of my head is it's 3.5, but let me scroll down to
If it's 3.5, I want the over there. Because he had not a bad season scoring touchdowns last year, but everyone thought he was going to score a lot more touchdowns than he did. He almost had
It's 5.5. My mistake. It's 5.5.
That's a little
and
higher.
It's minus 140.
Yeah, I can't play it at minus 140.
Diggs is plus 1,600 to lead the league in receiving. That's probably worth a few bucks.
Who is?
Diggs.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, 16-1. That's great. Let me look at what Stephon Diggs' numbers are overall. Sorry, scrolling down. The wide receiver props are tough. There's like so many of them. Stephon Diggs, over 8.5 receiving TDs, minus 115. Over 1150.5 receiving yards, also minus 115. Over 97.5 receptions, minus 115. So they put these up and the market hasn't moved them. But I think it's because they put them pretty high, right? I mean, it's like, feels like you're almost paying the tax. At the same time, don't want to go under. So that's why I was staying away from those. Do you think I'm missing out on some value by being scared off of those numbers, JC? No,
I don't blame you too much on that.
Right? Don't you think they said it because they don't want any under action, but they don't want too much over action, but they're obviously not getting it because these aren't juiced. You look at other players, they moved them up to minus 140, minus 145. You can tell what people are betting.
Yeah.
So.
It's I just could see it going anyway. Like the way this, Bills teams plays, anyone could be racking up stats. Like they're not going to be so reliant on like Diggs as say like the Bengals are on Chase.
All right. So this team, obviously highly favorites to win the division. Do we think that's a shoo-in? Because I kind of do. I know people are saying this is the toughest division in the NFL, but now I think back and I go, isn't that what we said about the AFC West last year, right? I mean, some certain similarities. Oh, well, they brought in a Hall of Fame Super Bowl winning quarterback, right? Also a little older. We'll see how Aaron Rodgers does. Miami, to me, I love that they brought in Fangio. I was ready to get on and say Miami's just going to be a 9-8 team for the rest of their existence under McDaniels, but I think that was a huge pickup. So I do agree that they are better, but I don't know. What do you think, JC? Are the Buffalo Bills going to win the AFC East?
No, if Tua remains healthy. So I'm a little insulted by your 9-8 comment about Miami, Mike. That's just completely uncalled
because
for.
If Tua stays healthy, isn't that a coin flip at this point?
That's fine, but don't say that they're forever a 9-8 team under Miami Mike when they did that with Tua missing half the games. If he's healthy, they'll take this division.
Wow. What do you think of that, Tyler? I disagree. I think Buffalo wins even if Tua plays 17 games.
I think Miami makes it a lot more interesting in the end if he's there, but I still think Buffalo takes it. I just think you need to win 13 games to win this division. If the Jets won 13 games, that means they hit the ground absolutely running. I don't see that happening. And I just don't think Tua's body is going to be able to hold up at the NFL level. Like if it does, could they win 13 games? Of course. The defense is loaded. The offense is fast. They're going to put up points. But I still think in the end, Buffalo steals a game or two from them when they match up, and that's what decides the division.
Miami almost beat Buffalo in the playoffs with Skylar Thompson under center.
I'm not going to argue that, but I also think that there was a lot of things surrounding this Buffalo team last year that are just now in the back burner now that they're not worried about.
That's right. I mean, the other
like
thing
what?
I definitely.
I was just saying, Josh Allen's. I think he played with that injured elbow last year. That's another reason I'm high.
Josh Allen's not going to get kicked out of his house the night before a playoff game because he cheated on his girlfriend. So we don't have that going on.
Did that happen?
Yeah, that happened the day before the AFC Championship game. That's why he just no-showed that game.
It's a bad time to get caught.
The whole DeMar Hamlin situation just overshadowed this entire team after it happened.
Good point.
He's good now, so they don't have to worry about that. I think they're just going to play with no real pressure on them this year. Everyone penciled them into the Super Bowl last year. The injuries got to them. Other things happened like we just talked about. I think they're just going to coast this year. I think they're just going to run teams over on the way to the Super Bowl.
So the biggest thing for me is I think out of division, I agree. Buffalo probably has a better chance. I think within division, I think Miami's going to play really well. But those extra games could be the difference maker in getting the Bills to division. And the other reason, too, I don't like that bet is the Jets are just such a wild card. Like, I'm not certainly want to bet on them to win the division, but just adding that, I don't know if you said the odds. I can't imagine they're great odds for the Bills to win the division. I just think that'd be stupid money to play. Like, there are much better value bets out there in such a tight division.
All right, let me pull up the division odds. I'm flipping through all these windows here. Yeah, Jets are a wild card. I'm not. I don't know. Okay, so it's locked for me on book.
Plus 120. You're barely getting more than even money on the Bills to win the division.
I think that's a good bet. I think they're head and shoulders above the rest of these teams.
My big worry too is like late season. There's some away games for Miami where they're going to be playing in some cold temperatures. I don't think a lot of them guys want to play in these cold, frigid temperatures, especially a guy like Tua.
You want to, I mean, okay, what they got at New York, at Washington, end of November, beginning of December, home against Baltimore. New York, home against Dallas, at Baltimore, home against Buffalo.
Those 3 road games could be what decides this division.
Okay, Jets, that'll be tough. Washington, are you really that worried about Washington?
On the road, if that game's like 20 degrees in the snow, when their defense is loaded, that could be weird. That could be a weird game. It's
December 3rd, so I don't think they're at that risk of it being. I mean, sure, it could be. I just don't think they're at risk of it being that cold.
That Baltimore game is going to be the one.
At Baltimore is tough. That's definitely a tough game. And then, yeah, home against Buffalo, that could really, I mean, that could potentially decide division. But again, I also agree you do have the problem of this, again, is all if Tua can stay healthy. Because with Mike White and Skylar Thompson rounding out that depth chart.
I feel like this is us mid-November talking about the Pelicans when they're the 1 seed in the West, and we're like, they can make finals if Zion's healthy. And we all know damn well he ain't gonna be healthy in the end.
Yeah. I'm not intrigued at plus 120. If it was like 2-1, maybe, but I don't.
I gotcha.
I'll take some plus 120. I'm really high on the Bills. Thomas is not going to join me. He says he bet it Jets, Bills, Dolphins, Pats, exact order. Of course, those are fun bets. He says Rodgers is going to steamroll this division, and I'm a Cowboys fan.
I don't have him. If he steamrolls the division, I mean, lock in the MVP bets, get on their Super Bowl futures. Because
sure,
guess who they are? Odds. They're the Tampa Bay Bucks from a few years ago.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go straight to the New York Jets then, because I think this is the perfect segue. But I disagree with so much of this. Their win total is over 9.5 at bookmaker, minus 127. So they're taking a little bit of money to the over. And here's why. They're adding a Hall of Fame quarterback. Here's my concerns. He's 39. I think Brady got us messed up. Like LeBron has people messed up. These guys are outliers. You're not performing that well into your older age. So maybe being back with Hackett, maybe things get a little better for him. Obviously, the cold weather is not going to bother him. But I'm not necessarily sold that Rodgers is going to be elite into his 40s the way that Tom Brady was. Also, Tyler, we've talked about it before. Defense is cyclical. Just because the Jets defense was one of the best defenses in the NFL last year does not mean that will necessarily hang true this year. We've seen a lot more variances, and that's why I think people like betting on the high-powered offenses more, because it feels like offense is more consistent from year to year. So I'm not as high on the Jets. They just added Dalvin Cook, another guy just like Rodgers. Boy, if you just watch that tape from last year, it's not that impressive. And in fact, I was bragging to you guys that I'm getting Breece Hall in the 50s on best ball with his Dalvin Cook signing, and I'm absolutely loving it because to me, Dalvin Cook lost that like elite level, and he just seems average. And I think by the end of the year, there's going to be no choice but to go with the more explosive back. So Tyler, talk to me about this team. That 9.5 is over 127. I'm leaning towards the under here. I get plus 107 on that. I'm not sold that Aaron Rodgers at this age is going to be able to turn it around. And I want to see more from this defense before I'm ready to put them in. It's like a Steelers or a Patriots or a Ravens, right? A defense we can count on in every year. They had one good year. Let's see them do it again when these teams have tape on them. Your thoughts? Jets, 9.5.
Yeah, I mean, I think the defense is going to be pretty solid. I know there's all the videos going around Sauce Gardner's getting torched in all these camps and these 12v12 drills that they're doing with other teams. Like receivers are just burning them. I don't think he just falls off a cliff after 1 year. I think he'll be all right. DJ Reed on the other side will be good. Their pass rush led by Quinnen Williams and these guys, I think they'll be able to get the quarterbacks. I think the defense will be solid. I don't think it'll be the top unit it was last year. I think it'll be right around top 6, top 7 in the league. The offense, they have the weapons. They got the running backs now. You have multiple of them. You could rotate in and out of there. You got tons of weapons at the wide receiver spots, 2 tight ends for Rodgers to throw the ball to. The biggest thing, though, is you look at the offensive line. On paper, it's pretty decent. These guys can't stay healthy whatsoever. If that offensive line starts to fall apart, spread, Rodgers really hasn't played behind a bad O-line in years. I know Green Bay doesn't have the best line, but it's better than what he's got on New York right now. So he could be in for a rude awakening there. And you look at this schedule. They did this team no favors with the schedule. Their first 6 weeks, let's just predict their record. They start the year with Buffalo. Then they go to Dallas. Then they come home to play New England. Then they play Kansas City. Then they go to Denver. And then they play Philly. They might be 1-5 going into the bye week. And all that hype is just dead. So I would tread cautious with this team. You definitely might be able to get a better number on this team if you really like them to win it all. You see some things you like in those first couple of weeks, but they're not winning these games and they're keeping them close. Just wait. You'll get a better number on this team. This is as low as their numbers are going to get all year. If you want to bet them to win it all or win the division, just wait until after that Chiefs game. They're definitely going to lose that Chiefs game. Their numbers are going to be at the best I think they could be right then. And if you don't like it then and you want a little more value, just wait 2 weeks until they lose to the Eagles. Then you might even get a better number. So I would just tread cautiously with this team. I'm not really doing much with their season total props or anything on their win totals. I'm just going to wait and see on this team. Too hard of a schedule for me to predict.
All right, JC. My guy Richie Smalls is in the chat, and he's not happy with the Jets slander. So I'm going to embrace my inner first take, and I'll give reasons why the Jets could be good. Rodgers seems more motivated than ever, right? And was he maybe checked out the last couple of years? Now he has something to prove. I'm not the only one saying this about not believing that he can get it done. Chip on the shoulder could help. And if the defense is just as good, they've got all the weapons to get things done. Richie, give us that like. JC, your thoughts on the Jets? Win total, 9.5.
If I got to make a bet, I'm taking the under. I have no faith in this Jets team. I'm fully prepared to be wrong. Like I'm not going to go full Skip Bayless on this and just say they're terrible. They're going to be trash. I do believe that. If I had to bet, I think that's what's going to happen. I'm prepared to be wrong. I'm prepared for Rodgers to come out and just, be
right.
Aaron
It's not
Rodgers.
the craziest idea, right? If I'm eating my words on this take,
Yeah,
I wouldn't
for
be
sure.
super surprised.
But it's just, there's just so many things that indicate to this not working. I mean, Rodgers he basically took everything he liked about Green Bay, brought it to New York, and it kind of feels like the Brooklyn Nets, the ones that 18-19, like they were building something really good, and then they traded it all away for KD and Kyrie. Like, I think New York was building something really great. Did they need a quarterback? Yeah. But Rodgers has basically blown it up. And I think it's going to be ugly for this team.
I don't know about that. You get 2 good years of them, and then you go draft again. But they weren't building with Zach Wilson. And they weren't
not with Zach Wilson, but the rest of the team.
To develop this year. So
great offense, a great defense, some great offensive weapons. and they just said, "Yeah, Rodgers, come in and do your thing."
I think if you're a defensive player, you got to have a little more swagger, knowing you got a Hall of Famer on the other side. If you get a turnover, it's not Zach Wilson that's trying to convert for you.
For sure. However, are we not going to talk about the fact that Aaron Rodgers threw 12 interceptions last year? I mean, that's in like 10 years, over 10 years since he's thrown double-digit interceptions. Like, there are a lot of things you can contribute to Green Bay's poor season last year, but a number like that, that's not what you want to see. I think it's going to be like, oh, wait. I think it's going to be very reminiscent of Favre on the Jets. Their schedule is disgusting. It's challenging. They have like maybe 4 games you could automatically mark as wins, but it's brutal. And playing in the AFC East compared to that NFC North division he's used to, it's going to be tough. And on top of that, to Tyler's point, I really like the point of waiting. If you really do like this Jets team, Aaron Rodgers always starts off this, or at least the past few seasons, he started off poorly. They are going to be absolutely embarrassed by the Bills in week 1. What happens after that, I don't know. But at least wait for that before placing any kind of...
No, I love Tyler's strategy. Wait till like week 5 or week 6. You might be able to get this win total at 7.5 at that point. Right? When they're 1-5, it looks like they're imploding, and then they go on a nice little run. That could be when Breece Hall is getting back to full strength, too, and he was such a weapon for that team last year.
Yeah. I mean, that's what Rodgers did in 2020, right? Like, he started that season, like, 0-4, something like that, and then they ended up doing pretty well. I just don't have, and it's the Jets, right? At the end of the day, it's still the Jets, and the Jets are going to jet. I still will probably see. You hope there's a bit of an uptick in Rodgers' performance. You really don't think a back-to-back MVP is just going to fall off a cliff like he did. But
except for you look at his age. We've seen this with other quarterbacks. Peyton Manning's fall from grace was quick, right? I mean, he was so smart. He was still able to win.
Yeah, these guys we're about to talk about that fell off a cliff. Like, you're going to say Drew Brees, too. His throwing hand was in.
How about Rivers?
Was Rivers ever, like, a very good passer?
He was never elite. Yeah, like
he was just on the Chargers. You talk about Jets going to jet, Chargers are going to Charger. If he was on any other team, he probably would have won a ring.
I love the fact that we all have teams in our favorite teams' divisions that we all think that they're like the Jets.
What are yours? Browns going to Brown?
Yeah, the Chargers are going to Chargers. The Browns are going to Brown.
If you say the Bengals are going to Bengal, that shows you how good Joe Burrow is.
It's just the New York way, and you know. I just have no faith in this team. I don't, and it's. I think they could have done a lot of things to progress from last season. Like, they had a really positive season, but they kind of just any progress they were building, they threw it away for Aaron Rodgers, and I don't think it's going to work out for them.
So I agree with you on most of the take for their season, except for I still believe bringing Rodgers in was the right move. What were their other options?
Yeah, they really didn't have another one.
Zach Wilson back out there. I don't think Zach Wilson's ever going to be good. You missed the pick. What do you do? Don't compound your mistake, right?
Will Levis. Like, they're guys they could have drafted.
No. They were better off sending me back out there at quarterback this year than
Will Levis?
I'm just saying. There were guys they could have drafted. I understand they didn't have.
Who? There's not.
Will Levis? I don't know, man.
Will Levis is not going to be a good quarterback. I heard his work ethic is terrible.
Even the vets that were moving around, like Derek Carr wasn't winning you a Super Bowl. Like, he could have won you some games, but he wasn't winning you a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'd rather have Rodgers than Carr.
If Rodgers shows up and he shows you any flashes of his MVP self, you got a chance at a Super Bowl if you can get in the playoffs.
Yeah,
not in this division.
Oh, I agree, but all you got to do is get there in the end.
Why? Okay, seriously though, why didn't he go to Tampa Bay? Why didn't he just fill in Brady and just keep that team riding?
I don't think that, like, that team's a little older than this one is.
Sure.
Their offensive line isn't what it was when Brady was there. Like, a lot of those names are gone and older, and a lot of them guys are now injury prone, getting hurt more. So I just think he's seen that, and I think
but
also
that division's a cakewalk.
Oh, I agree. Definitely a cakewalk. I think he wanted the bigger market too. I think he wanted to be a
he
star now.
wanted to date some new women. He didn't want any more Kurt's leftovers.
And he's been sitting in Wisconsin for how many years? Like the guy wanted.
So what? You'd rather live in New York than Tampa Bay? I'm sorry, New Jersey. You'd rather live in New Jersey than Tampa Bay?
I mean, I'm saying no.
I'd rather be a star in New York than in Tampa Bay.
He wins
if he brings that. Even if they just get to the Super Bowl,
he's going to make so much money.
Yeah.
He's going to have a hard time making the playoffs.
This New York Jets and AFC East preview is brought to you by RunPureSports.com. Become a member right now. Use that promo code NFL20. That will give you 20% off your membership. Faux life. Tyler, as a 90s kid, should I be channeling Mac 10 there or the NWO when I say faux life?
I'm gonna go with NWO because I don't know a song from him. Huh? I don't know a song from the other guy.
JC, are you familiar with Mac 10 WC and the West Side Connection?
I've heard of it.
Okay. Well, he has a great song called Faux Life. Fantastic work. Let's move on to the Miami Dolphins here. Same win total, over 9.5.
Before we go into that, we got some fun questions in the chat, like from our guy Thomas. What would happen if the Jets drafted Fields over Wilson? Thoughts?
I think they would have continued to develop him.
I think he's
so much farther ahead.
I also think that would have did him better because he would have stayed with one of his receivers that he was with at Ohio State that he loved to target in Garrett Wilson. I think they're a better organization setup wise than the Chicago Bears too. Like you'd have probably still seen his running ability, but he wouldn't have had to run near as much on the Jets that he does on Chicago.
But do you think could Salah handle a running quarterback?
Why not?
I don't know.
How much does he even do on the offense?
What?
I don't know how much he really does on the offense besides set the
tone. Who they have last year? Who they have before Hackett?
Another guy from the Niners organization, right?
All right, yeah, probably could have handled. So that's always a like. I just don't think any great quarterback with legs. I don't think can be plugged into any system. Would just be my concern with Fields.
Well, the other thing too is like when we're talking about like what would happen if they drafted him. If you go back to before he was drafted and find somebody that told you that guy could run for 1,000 yards, everyone's going to tell that guy that he don't know what he's talking about. He showed no abilities to run the ball like that in college.
The funny thing too is it's normally I hate playing the what if game, but everybody knew Zach Wilson was going to be a terrible pick.
Yeah. BYU didn't play anybody. Yeah. Got bullied by Coastal Carolina in one game. It was like, yeah, you're not going to be it.
Yeah, obviously a disappointment there. Can we talk about the Dolphins now, or are we going to slander the Jets some more? I mean, Richie Smalls is one of our biggest supporters, Tyler. I mean, the guilt is starting to hit me here.
Richie, I hope you can come in week 3 or 4 and do some trash talk. You've been through a lot as a Jets fan. I don't know if you rep other New York teams. You deserve it, but I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a tough one as well. We talked about that schedule, though, and Richie, there might be some value there in week 5 or week 6, and, of course, we'll be targeting that over at runpuresports.com. Tyler and I will let you know when we do decide to pull the trigger on that. And the great part about it, right, Tyler, let's say we're wrong, right? Let's say Rodgers is 5-1, We didn't lose any money yet.
Yep.
Right? We're taking a wait-and-see approach. I think that's the best way to approach this team. Any other props for this team? So I love Breece Hall now in best ball that I'm getting him in the late 40s, early 50s. I think he's going to be a better running back than Dalvin Cook. Garrett Wilson going around 15, of course, with the addition of Aaron Rodgers. Tyler, players we should be targeting in any season-long props that we're looking at?
Players you should be targeting on this team, definitely like the Breece Hall call. Mm-hmm. I would wait later until the year just to make sure he's healthy. I wouldn't be betting him his first or second week back because even then you're going to get better odds on him to say scored an anytime touchdown in those weeks. Mm-hmm. Those are probably the weeks you're like, cool, they're down in the red zone. This should be where he's going to score. Out trots Dalvin Cook, punches it in the end zone. You're tilted. So I would just wait it out until later in the year when you know he is exactly at 100% and he's back to being their main RB1. I like the Garrett Wilson call because we know Rodgers loves to pelt the star receivers, and he's talked up Garrett Wilson a lot. I think he's going to use him a ton. He's going to hit him with the deep ball a lot. Garrett Wilson has separation. He's going to be able to get these deep balls and be able to score touchdowns of 50-plus yards. So love those two. And Lazard's just going to be a touchdown merchant too. We know once they get
You
down
think
to the
so?
red
I would
zone-
like him more on DraftKings where I get the PPRs. I think he's going to get a lot of short receptions.
I don't think he's going to rack up the receptions as much. Like I could see him being a 4 or 5 catch guy and maybe have 2 touchdowns in a game. Like doesn't it? Like I could see it being, oh, they're down into the red zone. They tried running it once or twice. It's not going. Now they're in shotgun. Lazard runs a slant, and there's the end zone touchdown that was 4 yards in.
Yeah, as much as I'm down on the Jets here, they are a fun best ball stack because you can grab Rodgers and Lazard rather late, pick up Conklin at the very end.
You could bet the Jets to score a rushing touchdown in every regular season game at 100-1.
It's hard to argue against 101. JC, any more thoughts on the New York Jets, and is there any props that I'm missing?
No, I have no interest in betting this team. Like it's either way.
Here, I got
just slandered them for about 10 minutes.
JC, you'll love this.
Oh yeah,
one. The Jets. Oh, never mind. I thought it was both the Jets and the Packers that missed the playoffs. It's Jets make the playoffs, Packers miss the playoffs at plus 150.
That's terrible.
If it was both,
Did you go the other way?
If it was both to miss the playoffs at plus 150, I'd be on it.
All right. RunPureSports.com, promo code NFL20. Become a member right now. Miami Dolphins over at 9.5. Tyler, we'll start with you on this one. I know that JC's high on this team. I'm a little bit skeptical, but before I went to bury him, that Fangio pickup, that's huge, man. So if I were going to take either of these 9.5 overs, I'd take the Miami one. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I lean with you too. If I'm taking one of these at 9.5, it would be Miami. But after going through the season spread, I got them finishing 9-8. I do not trust the health of Tua. I think at some point this year, I don't think it'll be as bad as last year. I don't think we'll see him laying on the ground, throwing up gang signs mid-game, and it's like he looks like his hands are broken. I think you just see him take a hit or two maybe, and it's like he looks like he's a little woozy. Now he's on the sideline, and now he's out for 3 weeks because of a concussion. So, and he's even made comments too. He's like, if I get another concussion, I might just retire. What's his team's outlook if week 1, if he takes a bad hit and he's like, all right, see you guys later. I'm done for the year. I'm done for good. This team's hopes and dreams are now in the can. They're just running a backup quarterback out there. I know their offense will still look decent with the weapons. The defense will also be good with what they have. But I just can't see them threatening like a Bills team without a healthy Tua. So I think 9-8's the way to go. That's what I'm going to stick with. And if Tua's healthy going into the playoffs, maybe I'll sprinkle on them to make a run into the Super Bowl. But I can't bet him season long and hope he stays upright for the entire season. So it's just another one. I'm just going to watch and see how Miami treats me all year. If Tua's healthy in the end, maybe I'll sprinkle on them to win the AFC.
JC, talk to us about your love of this season's Dolphins.
Yeah, no, I can't really argue with much of what Tyler said. I mean, this season, everything I am saying is hinging on Tua being healthy, right? I understand what a huge unlikelihood that is based on what we've seen here from this point, but it's my team, so I'm going to be optimistic. And everything I'm saying is, of course, hinged on Tua being healthy the full season. To answer Tyler's question, though, Tua goes down in week 1. I think Mr. Tom Brady receives a call from Stephen Ross.
You don't think the guy that dresses like a parlay when he's training on the field gets a call, Carson Wentz?
I don't. We're probably better off with Mike White
Tyler.
or Skylar Thompson than we are Carson Wentz. I mean, this team is just
you know what happens if that happens. You know who they call, right?
Who? Spread.
Shanahan. They're going to grab Trey. If Tua goes down week 1, you could probably get Trey for a couple second rounders.
That's true.
And I don't think you can give up on the season.
I
think if anyone were able to come in and you do that offense right off the bat, right, it would be Trey, who's worked in the same system and I don't know, arguably has more physical upside than Tua.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, that's kind of why I'm so high on this team. Is it's so well built, right? This isn't just Tua's not that great of a quarterback that it's like, our season's hinged on him, right? He's done well. He fits this season. Mike McDaniel loves.
I don't even think he's a good quarterback. I don't think he would do good in like Las Vegas or like a terrible team or like Houston. I don't think he'd be good at all.
Houston's not fair because Houston's just a dumpster fire.
And I was team Tua coming out.
I just wish this dude would have never blew his hip.
Do you understand my point, though? You put Josh Allen on Houston, they still win 9 games. He's that good. Like Patrick Mahomes, you put him on any team in the league, they're a playoff team.
Yes. Okay. So
I just don't.
I mean, I've had this conversation so many times with people. Tua's right around a top 10 quarterback. Like he's, depending on how you do it, he's going to fall somewhere between like 9 and 12, in my opinion. You're talking about top 5 guys. And yes, he is nowhere close to the Allens, Mahomes, Burrows of this league.
Yeah, he's closer to Kirk Cousins and Dak Prescott.
No, he's not. Well, it
Better
depends
or
how high you are
worse?
on Kirk Cousins.
Better or worse?
Much better.
No way.
I don't think much better. He's better, but he's not much better.
If you if you knew you had Tua for 16 games, 17.
I'd rather have Dak or Kirk.
You'd rather have Dak.
Yes.
No, I'm taking a healthy Tua over Dak.
Yeah. I understand from, if you're talking about your team, I can understand wanting Dak or Kirk because you're far more likely to get 17 games. But he's got skills, man. The stuff he can do since they started letting him launch the ball. There was a point where he could scramble. I don't want that dude leaving the pocket ever anymore, though. And in your best ball leagues, is Berrios getting drafted?
No.
That's gonna be a great look. That's a little. That's someone you want to look at for props and
especially on DraftKings where they have 20 rounds and your chance of your number 20 guy cracking your lineup, so you can take the stabs there more.
Braxton Berrios,
taking Tua or you taking Deshaun Watson?
Deshaun Watson,
a guy who hasn't like played a game in like 5 years.
a guy who was actually like an elite quarterback at a time in his life.
I mean, there was arguments he was the second best quarterback in the league before that all happened.
Absolutely, but that was then. This is now. Braxton Berrios is going to rack up some yardage. Went to school in Miami. I went to high school with the guy. He did some pretty good stuff with the Jets. And now in Miami, when you got Waddle and Hill going deep, and Mike's just going to use him as a little slot receiver, he's going to pick up some receptions right down the middle. I think Tua is going to enjoy throwing to him. This offense is going to be just electric as long as he gets healthy.
All right, yeah, it seems to me that our handicap of this team hinges on whether or not he stays healthy. I view that as a coin flip, and the odds on the 9.5 are pretty close to the coin flip. Tough for me to see an edge, but JC, you think I'm missing it? You're betting on this over, huh?
I mean, I am, yes. I wouldn't blame anyone who doesn't, again, because you're worried about concussions and whatnot.
I got a bet that could be good. This is a bet. It's like if Tua is healthy all year, they have a good chance at this. Team to score the most regular season points, Miami, 20-1. That's listed with the likes of the Saints.
I just so worried that you get your head and you get screwed that last month.
I mean, you could, but if he's healthy and they're just running their offense how it's going to go with him healthy spread.
List off all the teams on that. Who's number one? Is it Detroit?
It goes the Chiefs 5-1, the Bills 7-1, the Eagles 9-1, Dallas, Detroit 10-1, Cincinnati
that number.
Cincinnati 11-1, Baltimore, which we really needed to stop this with all the hype on Baltimore, 16-1, the Chargers 16-1, the Niners 16-1, Vikings 16, Jets 20, Miami 20, Saints 25, Jacksonville 25, Steelers 30. I don't think Miami
20-1. That's great. That's a good number. Yeah. I also liked, who'd you say at 16? The Chargers.
The Chargers are at 16.
That's a good number. Yeah. And the Niners, right?
My worry about the Niners is like if one of these teams is to grab a lead and just go, all right, defense, like sit on this, it's probably the Niners.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
So I like the Chargers a little more. If we targeted the bad defenses, I want to target Detroit. They seem like they'd be in a lot of shootouts. Kind of got to take Dallas out. So is Miami even a bad defense anymore, though?
No.
Yeah. Maybe Detroit and some Chargers action there.
I don't hate that. Seattle at 50-1 intrigues me too. They seem to be a little too far down.
I mean,
yeah, especially because they're not Go ahead.
Yeah, are we going to get the kind of year we got last year? I feel like that was kind of a flash in the pan with Tyrod.
You mean Gino?
I'm so sorry. Yes, Geno Smith.
I believe the Gino hype, and I think that they're not the typical Seattle team. They turned more into the offense, carry the team, right? The defense isn't as good anymore. Although it was weird. Remember, Tyler, when we were doing the stats last year? Like through the first 8 weeks, they were like historically bad. And then there was like a 4 or 5 week stretch where if you just sorted by that stretch,
They were
like a top 5 defense.
Yeah.
And then they kind of reverted back. So I don't know if I trust that one defensive part. Of course, Pete Carroll gets these guys better as they go along. But yeah, I guess at 50, see, once you get those 50 to 101s, it's so hard to argue against. Danilo, he says Richie, Niners versus Jets.
Gallinari's coming in to play quarterback.
Who's Danilo?
Gallinari.
Man, going to rock the Mohawk. Anything else on the Miami Dolphins before we move on?
You can catch Tyreek Hill to score 10+ receiving touchdowns at 2-1.
I like that.
I like that too. I think he's gonna have a huge year. I drafted him 3 in a best ball draft today. He says Darnold. I guess we should have known that. Yeah. Sam Darnold in a Super Bowl. Wow, Richie. That is some Jets love right there.
You can also get even money on Miami to score a touchdown in every game.
What do you think of that?
I don't hate that, but imagine imagine he goes down in like week 16 and it's like shit
against the Patriots. Yeah.
And then
even if he just sits out a week.
You can put Braxton under center, and he could throw
just
a pass to Hill for a touchdown.
You're looking at the season specials on FanDuel, right?
But Hill didn't play all 17 games last year either.
I would much rather just bet the one right underneath it. Jalen Phillips to record 10 sacks in a regular season, plus 140.
Oh, that is good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
All right. Well, plenty of different ways to look at this team. And, of course, you'll get them all at runpuresports.com. Promo code NFL20. The Bill Belichick's of betting is what we like to call ourselves over there. And let's talk about Bill Belichick. Tyler, you think that he's getting washed, huh? What do you think about this New England Patriots win total? Sitting at 7. Juice to the under. Tyler, nobody believes in Bill. Is this a primary opportunity for him and Mac Jones to shake up the world?
I know they changed some coaches on this coaching staff. Like you had Mike Patricia calling offensive plays, which is just probably shouldn't be anywhere near an offensive playbook, let alone any playbook at this point. So keeping him away from that offensive playbook should make Mac Jones look a little bit better. But I was never sold on Mac Jones when he was coming out of Alabama. He was a decent quarterback. But any 3 of us on this panel could have thrown the ball to Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith, and handed it to Najee Harris. Like, he didn't do anything all that impressive. He just game managed for him. And he showed up on the Patriots with no real weapons. And you kind of got to turn the weapons into something playing for the Patriots like Brady did. Mac Jones isn't that kind of guy. So I don't really trust this team. And, man, we talk about the Jet schedule. Listen to this, JC. Week 1, Philly. Week 2, Miami. Week 3, at the Jets. Week 4, at Dallas. Week 5, you come home and play the Saints. Week 6, you get to go to Vegas. Week 7, you come home and play the Bills. Week 8, head down to Miami. Week 9, Washington. Week 10, the Colts. Week 11, you get a bye, so you can't lose that one. Week 12, at the Giants. Week 13, the Chargers. Week 14, at Pittsburgh. Week 15, Kansas City. Week 16, at Denver. Week 17, at Buffalo. You finish off with the Jets. They're picking top 3, top 4 this year, fellas. They're going to bottom out. I don't care how hard this team fights. I just don't see how they win some of these games with Mac Jones under center. Like, he's not
because Bill Belichick is still the best defensive coordinator in the NFL.
The defense is slowly starting to fall apart too. Like, I get it. They've made stuff out of random guys and they've done it before. Mm-hmm. But as offense just keeps chugging along in this league, eventually that defense starts to fall off. And this schedule is as hard as it gets.
Mm-hmm. The schedule is brutal, but I wouldn't underestimate Pats and Belichick. Tyler, I'll tell you what. My guess is the projections are going to love us taking the Pats plus the points in a ton of games.
I could see it, but just like we talked about penciling in win for the Jets earlier, and there's only like about 4.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's about 2 that you can pencil in.
Right, but the Colts beat the Chiefs last year, right? I mean, so we can't just go off that.
But like just some of these games, if they just start to look bad and they're like, all right, let's go to Bailey Zappi, let's try Malik Cunningham.
First of all, they're not tanking. That's like, it's impossible.
They don't need to try to tank. With the team they have and that schedule, I just looked up, they have far and away the hardest schedule. Like looking at the graph, it's funny. Like Dolphins 30, Raiders 31, and then there's a drop off, and then 32 for the Patriots. Like their schedule's that much.
They say the Raiders have the 31st toughest schedule, or the second toughest schedule.
Yeah.
That's assuming Denver's going to be good. All right. Boy, so I'm the only Belichick truther in here, right?
I mean, so I was kind of like, I wasn't really sure what to think about the Patriots, but after hearing that schedule, I don't know how we can think they're going to come up with 8 wins this season. I'm never going to count out Belichick. He'll cause some problems in the division for sure. You know, he'll pick up, well, I guess he only had 3 division wins last season, probably be about the same this year. That could cause some problems later in the season, but I don't know how he's going to beat these other
Well,
opponents.
he always beats the Jets.
Right. But even still, I mean, he's got to face Rodgers now.
Okay.
So that's going to be.
You think that's going to be an issue for him?
Could be
Mobile
a split.
quarterbacks are the only ones that bring him problems.
Yeah, it's true. And again, okay, he's a great defensive coordinator. Fine. You're going to have to keep your opponents to 0 if you want to win games.
No, the offense isn't that bad.
It's pretty bad.
No, because they have one of the best offensive line coaches, so they'll always develop their linemen. They're going to have a run game. I mean,
what happens
they
when
are
you're down
going to
by
be one
17
of the bottom.
and you can't run the ball?
No, they're not. I don't see why you don't trust this guy's defense. So I can understand, like, yeah, he might be losing his grip. Like you said, you hire Patricia and who's the other guy, Joe Judge. Like that was a mistake.
At what point do you look around and it's like, I've won 6 Super Bowls. I can't really.
These guys aren't wired that way.
But I mean, at some point as you're getting older, like you start to realize, like it's just not there anymore.
Like look at Vince McMahon. Like tell me that guy can't just retire, but he's still trying to do stuff. That's all they know what to do.
They tried to kick him out spread, and he said, "I'm
what are
coming back."
Yeah, like what would Belichick do? Like this dude just lives and breathes football.
Yeah,
like, he's not going to be an analyst.
He's got a real offensive coordinator now.
No, I'm just saying he can't retire because like he doesn't know anything else. He would just be bored.
All right, let's answer this question from Richie. But to me, it's easy. I'm surprised that he even thinks that. I'm way higher on Daniel Jones.
Yeah, for sure.
What was the question? Daniel Jones or Mac Jones?
Yeah.
Box them both up and throw them in the ocean.
Daniel Jones is not that bad.
He's not good.
I think who I think Daniel Jones is comparable to? Phillip Rivers.
Phillip Rivers is good. Daniel Jones will be lucky if he ends up being that good.
Yeah,
I'm a
both serviceable
guy. I think you guys are down on Rivers for no reason.
They're both serviceable.
No, Rivers was good.
Kirk Cousins, same category.
Phillip Rivers and Kirk Cousins in the same category. Oh, you're hurting me.
Neither can get it done in prime time.
No, that's actually a good comparison. I think the guy that doesn't belong in that group is Daniel Jones. Because I think those guys they would lap him in yards. Like, he just can't keep up passing.
I think Phillip Rivers would have a Super Bowl if he was ever out. Like, for example, if Phillip Rivers was on the Steelers teams instead of Big Ben, you don't think they could have won all those titles?
Would he still be blowing fourth quarter leads like he did in San Diego?
No, because San Diego is San Diego, and they're like, there's something innate in their DNA that they'll always blow leads. It's like a karmic thing of having the cheapest, crappiest owner, maybe, in the NFL. Danny Dimes or Tua? I like Danny Dimes better. I know you guys are going to disagree with me there.
So how are you going to –
Is Phillip Rivers making that tackle when Jerome Bettis fumbles on the goal line and the last guy to stop the guy from scoring the game-winning touchdowns is the quarterback?
No, but with Phillip Rivers in the huddle, Bettis won't fumble. All right, go ahead. I want to hear your disgust on me picking Danny Jones.
No, I can't believe you would pick Daniel Jones over Tua. After all the slander you just put out.
Good, except for have the best receiving core and one of the best offensive coordinators in the league. Like, who is he throwing to compared to Daniel Jones? Who's Daniel Jones got? Sterling Shepard and who's that wash guy that they brought over from Detroit? I mean, it was just terrible there.
You talking about that wide receiver that should be in jail for stealing money from the Giants?
Who, Kenny Galloway or
Yeah,
Galladay
Kenny
or
Galloway.
something? Yeah, terrible. And I actually thought he was good because the 1 year before he got traded, the Lions won every game that he played, and he missed a bunch of games, and they lost all the ones he didn't. So I was like, oh, he's a difference maker. He's a winner. Then he gets the money and goes to New York. Boy, absolutely terrible. Question for you, JC. How is Tua better than Danny Dimes? You give Danny Dimes that offense? Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to kind of quantify this because this argument can certainly be made for either because, like you said, who Dimes has thrown to. I was going to talk about how the words literally about to come out of my mouth were Tua can put it on a dime, but that's quite literally Daniel Jones' nickname, so he doesn't really have that on him. Yeah, tough to say. I mean, like I can easily understand someone on either side. I just didn't like Spread saying it because he just talked all this crap about Daniel Jones, and so now you're saying that like Tua is even worse than that. That's why I was offended.
He is, though.
I just hate comparing what Tua
I'm going to
is now
challenge
to
you
quarterbacks.
on the wins. I mean, like I know he count-wise he has, but if we're looking at games Tua has started and finished, I'm not sure if that stat would hold up, at least percentage-wise. Good. Has Jones been in the league longer? Yeah.
So Jimmy G's better than Tua because he has the best win percentage in the league.
Who?
Jimmy G?
No, he was just saying that that Danny Dimes won more games than Tua, and I just said that's not really a fair comparison. If we're talking about games, started and finished, I'm sure like he obviously probably won.
He's talking about who's going to win more games this year, the Giants or the.
Oh, who's going to win more games? Oh, I'm sorry. No, oh my gosh, no. No. Giants are going to get run over in that division.
I mean, just throughout their career, who's more likely to win a Super Bowl? I say Tua.
I say Daniel Jones because Tua's career is going to be over by like week 8.
I still think he has a better chance of winning a Super Bowl.
Look, I mean, I don't know if Thomas is actually a Giants fan. I understand the high you're riding off of last season, but that was a fraudulent team. And the teams they got to go up against this season, it's going to be ugly for them.
I hope our guy Joey Work isn't watching.
I hope he is. I hope we send him a link right now and have him just jump on. But we are talking about the New England Patriots here. Promo code NFL 20. Become a member.
Isn't it only right when we talk about the Patriots, we talk about their kryptonite and the New York Giants?
Yeah. Okay. Good. That's fair.
Wow. He's a Cowboys fan and he's defending Danny Dimes. I don't really know what that says about you.
It says that he's objective.
I like it.
He says that he's not biased.
I like it.
It says that he's looking at it from an analytical lens.
It's a non-delusional Cowboys fan. Lock that
and
man up because there's probably like 3 of them in the entire world.
Go watch some Tua games. I understand there are not many of them. So if you're not a Dolphins fan, you probably haven't caught many of them. The way that man plays, he's a stud. And if he...
Are we watching Alabama?
No. Watch those games early in the season from Miami last year. He was
where he's throwing to Tyreek Hill, who's like 5 yards ahead of his man.
He's threading the needle and putting that ball on a dime.
He doesn't need to. He has the most open receivers. So
that's his fault?
No, I'm just saying
Whatever.
It doesn't mean that he's a great player because he's making like easy throws.
Also, too, part of it, too, is before McDaniel, they weren't letting him throw deep. Gosh, who was it? After
Adam Gase or
Brian
what was after
Flores?
Gase?
Yeah, Brian Flores.
Until Mike McDaniel, they were not letting Tua throw deep. Like, he was just throwing these little 10, 15 yards checkdowns. Even before, I guess, anyways, they were not letting him air it out. So the sample size has been terrible to look at the body of work. Look at last season. Look at the games he was healthy. That's the Tua we can expect to see this season. That's the guy who's better than Daniel Jones and Dak Prescott and Kirk Cousins.
All right, go back to telling me why we should bet against Bill Belichick again, because to me it sounds like a
because he's got the hardest schedule in the NFL. We've seen nothing good out of the Patriots since Brady's left.
They made the playoffs 2 years ago.
Yeah, and what did they do in the playoffs?
It doesn't matter. We're talking about their win total. Their win total is 7.
Either way, sure, I'm wrong. We've seen something good since Brady. Last 2 years have been disgusting. We're both wrong, Fred. It's bad. It's going to be
I want to
bad.
go over on the Patriots, Tyler. Tell me again how I'm not smart.
Do I need to read the schedule off to you again?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes,
Tell us
do
this
it.
game.
Do it. Let's
Fred,
do it
pull up
again.
the
I was in
schedule.
the bathroom during that.
This is literally like how you just said. It's like, oh, there's 7.5 wins. Like they're gonna win games that they shouldn't.
Yeah.
Are they gonna win 8 games that they shouldn't? Week
Right,
one,
let's go.
Week 1, Philadelphia loss.
Okay.
Week 2 Week 2 Miami at home. Could they steal that
They
one?
could win that. Yes.
They could.
Yes.
At the Jets, loss.
No. Belichick always beats the Jets.
Okay, let's just say he
When's the last
split.
time the
Let's
Jets
just
had a
say he
quarterback?
split with Miami and New York. There's 2 wins.
At Dallas.
No, that's only 1 win if he splits those games. I'm saying
No.
Okay.
Between
All right,
the
let's
2
go
games
to
with
1
New
and
York.
2. They're 1 and 2 at this point. Go ahead.
At Dallas.
They can win that.
Home for New Orleans.
They'll definitely win that.
At Vegas.
Probably win that too.
Home for Buffalo.
They're going to cover. They'll probably lose.
At Miami.
At Miami?
Yep.
They probably lose that. They suck in Miami.
Home to play Washington.
They can win that game.
Home to play the Colts.
They can win that game.
At the Giants.
They can win that game.
No.
Okay,
Home-
any given Sunday. Yeah, they can win these games, but
Yeah. They just
I definitely like them against the Colts and the Commanders.
that's fine.
You're going to put
Okay.
Sam Howell against Bill Belichick? Give me a break. You're going to put Anthony Richardson against Bill Belichick? Those two.
They're not going to win at New York.
they're not
Yes,
going
they
to
Jets,
are.
the
They
Giants.
always win in New York.
No, against the Giants.
That's the Giants.
They probably will. You just told me how the Giants aren't that good, and they're a fluke, and they're a fraud.
I think the Patriots are worse.
Yeah. A fraud still beats a bad team.
Week
They're not a bad
13,
team.
Chargers.
At where?
Home.
They're home. They could win that one.
They win.
At Pittsburgh.
Don't do that to me.
Yeah, see, I was waiting to see how you decided that game. 'Cause they ain't that'll be a game of
Team
Pittsburgh,
Tomlin.
Pittsburgh's got that game marked already, spread. They're gonna
And they're
tank
going to
the
win
rest
like
of it.
21-19 on like some last-second play. Yeah. All right, go ahead.
Chiefs
Loss.
at the Broncos.
Who knows at that point? Jared Stidham could be starting.
At Buffalo.
Loss.
Home to play the Jets to finish the season.
Win. They're going over.
Okay, at the way spread right off the schedule, he should just bet the Patriots to win the division.
Yeah, I mean
No.
he had him. He had him.
No,
like
I had
11
him
and
at like,
6
well,
right
I
there.
didn't count them all, but I was probably at 8 or 9 wins.
If you count all his, they could win those games as wins. He's at like 11 and 6.
No,
Yeah.
I didn't say 11 times.
The only losses you said were like, hey, 1 against
The
Miami,
Chiefs,
1 against the
yeah.
Jets, Kansas
Buffalo.
City, 2 against Buffalo. And would you say Philly? Did you say they could beat Philly?
Yeah, no, they'll lose to Philly.
Okay, that's 6. That's 6 losses.
And we haven't split in the other one. That's 7. 9 and 7. Let's go.
I think they're winning like 4 games.
No, that'd be 10 and 7.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, extra game, 10 and
I'm
7.
old. I'm old. 10 and 7.
Double-digit wins for the Patriots.
Yeah, maybe they lose to the Cowboys too. So let's make them 9 and 8.
Oh,
Let's
okay,
stay.
there we go.
I'm going
And then-
over easy here.
And then another one of these weird bets where team to score the least amount of regular season points. This offense sucks. Their best wide receivers at
Give me
TikTok
all the
dancing.
teams there, so let's do this appropriately, right? Because Tampa and Carolina, Houston, all those teams.
But
have to
those
be up,
teams
right?
get to beat up on each other. Patriots
Yeah.
got to play Dolphins twice, Jets twice, Bills twice.
The order of the odds goes Houston at 4.5 to 1, Arizona 5, Chicago 8,
Arizona.
Chicago and Carolina 8 to 1, Washington 10 to 1, the Rams 12, Denver 12, Tampa 16, Tennessee 20, Colts 25, Giants 25, Patriots 30.
Who was it last year? Was it Denver last year?
Has to be.
Yeah, it had to be.
Could have been Houston too.
Houston put up a 40 ball in the last week. I feel like that would have killed you.
Oh yeah, good point.
Yeah, I like the Patriots there 30 to 1.
Because even the games the
30
Patriots
to 1, I
win, they're going to
can't
have to
argue.
win them like 13
Yeah.
to 7.
You're telling me
That's fine. I
Ramondre
think they're
Stevenson,
going to do it.
you're telling me Ramondre Stevenson and Zeke are going to score like 30 some points each game? Like Juju ain't getting in the end zone. Tyquan Thornton's not all that good. they just don't have weapons. Like Mike Gesicki's already hurt. Hunter Henry's never been a solid tight end. I just don't see it.
I know you guys don't see it, and we never see it with Belichick.
Spread. We talk about dynasties, and every once in a while that they just have to rock bottom out. And we thought the Spurs could lose games.
You can't rock bottom with Belichick though, because a coach can't single-handedly win games in the NBA. In the NFL, they can.
I just don't see it with that schedule.
All right, so we just
we'll make a friendly wager there that they go under that win total.
Yeah, I'll take over. You got under, and we'll push it 7.
Sounds like a plan.
How much we betting?
What should we do, JC? Should we do money or should we do a fun bet? Like, should I have to buy?
Yeah,
like
I was trying to think what would be does Vegas play the Steelers this year?
They do.
Yeah.
But Vegas doesn't really work though.
They play like week 4.
Oh yeah, nothing fun you can do with that. Man,
I'll buy a Mac Jones jersey if they go over the win.
Fuck that! I'd rather have $100. Let's just bet $100.
A jersey, man, that's like $1.50.
Well, 100's easy.
$100 on the under. Spread's got the over,
right. And we push it 7. Anything else that you guys hate on this team? Are you guys loading up on player prop unders here, or are they already just too low to begin with?
I'm sure they are. I haven't even looked at them.
Tyler, go ahead.
The only prop I'd look to bet would be Mac Jones over his interceptions. My only worry there, though, is if he looks bad and the team looks bad, he might hit the bench. He hit the bench last year.
Yeah.
When we talked
about
it,
a better bet to just bet every week.
Yeah, but no one ever thought he could hit the bench last year, Spread, and we talked about it in the preview show. I said, watch out for this kid Bailey Zappi, most yards in the college football ever. Everyone's like, who's this guy? Week 6, there he is, leading the team up the field for a touchdown. So I don't think they're 100% sold that Mac Jones is their guy. They know there's a bunch of quarterbacks coming out this year. If they look bad, they're going to check their guys and make sure they don't have something there.
All right.
Patriots do win at Dallas because there's someone we forgot to talk about.
Zeke.
Yeah. Ezekiel revenge
This isn't the NBA. We don't get revenge games.
Sure you do.
We're doing Ezekiel Elliott revenge game.
You just bet
he's going to put up like 200 yards in Dallas. What are you saying, Tyler?
He'll put up like 200 yards this whole year.
I'm sorry. Is your name Tyler Spread? Tyler, go ahead.
Just bet his anytime touchdown that game. That's how you get his revenge. You'll get like a nice plus number on that. He'll score. It's like, oh, there's his revenge, and now they lose.
Tyler, speaking of Ezekiel Elliott, go ahead.
I would say I thought this was a good signing, and then I looked at his stats from last year. He is absolutely washed. Like, I don't know.
But he's a good run blocker. I mean, he's a good pass blocker.
It's an expensive pass blocker.
Okay. You got the money anyways.
I don't think he's as washed as people think. He was more.
His numbers from last season?
He was literally used as the guy. It was like, just tire out the defense last year. Like, we know you're not going to be able to break through and run for 50 yards and outrun these defenses. But if you force these cornerbacks and these D-backs to keep coming up, keep tackling you, tire them out, and then we throw Pollard on the field for one play, and all of a sudden he breaks through the second level, and it's like, well, there he goes for a 60-yard touchdown. I don't think he does this.
He played in 15 games, and he couldn't get 1,000. He couldn't get 900 yards.
I just don't think he was meant to be that guy to just chunk yardage. I think he was just there to beat up the defenses.
Yeah, I guess that's too when you're splitting carries with Pollard. It's not the easiest. Yeah.
So one thing is, with Zeke signing, reminders dropping in best ball, not like Breece Hall, but he is dropping, and I think he's got some value. I don't think it affects him that much.
I think he's the best receiver on that team.
You might be right.
I mean, Juju's more of like a blocking guy. Like, I don't trust any of the other receivers. Ramondre's going to catch 4 to 5 balls a game. I think he's probably your best receiver on that team.
I forgot they got Juju. That's interesting.
All right, what's our best bet for the NFC East? Tyler, start with you.
I'm going to go with Buffalo to win the division. And there's a season special Buffalo to make the AFC Championship game plus 250. I think they're there. I think they make the Super Bowl. I don't think they win it, but I just think they cruise this year. I think they're the juggernaut we all thought they were going to be last year.
Tyler is high on the Buffalo Bills. JC, your thoughts? Best bet?
Yeah, I can't tell the people to pull the trigger on Miami to win the division. So I'll just go ahead and take Tyreek Hill, 10-plus receiving touchdowns, plus 200.
I'm going to join in solidarity with older Americans across the country. And support my guy, Bill Belichick. Give me the New England Patriots over 7 wins at plus 100. Tyler, real quick, did you find that Mac Jones prop for the interceptions? Can you pull that up?
I can't find one listed for him.
All right. If that does drop, of course, Tyler will put it in the Discord and on the sheet because I do kind of like that. Even with the new coordinator, he probably still will have some turnover issues. But, boy, I'm telling you, I think this team is going to surprise some people. JC, final thoughts on the AFC East?
Look out for Tua Tagovailoa. You know, you're going to be surprised.
Are you saying that to the fans or to the hospital workers?
All right. All right. I'm done here.
You don't have words of wisdom for us?
He's like, cue the music. I'm out of here.
Man, it's been so long. I forgot to prepare some. I'm so sorry, y'all.
Music, Tyler.